Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working together step by step through the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you if you go to my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets which you can download in US letter or A4, and they accompany each step of this series to help you. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find out about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam, and also how to make the best use of your time on exam day when you're actually working through your exam paper. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel and share out the videos. And now we're going to continue with the paper C of the 2018 Grade 3 practice papers. So if you turn with me to page 13, we'll have a look at these next questions together. So I'm hoping you've had a go of this on your own. First of all, you'll learn much better by making a few mistakes. It doesn't matter. Just work in pencil and have an eraser to hand, and then you can just have another go if you haven't quite got it. So now let's work through these together. So we're asked to name the key of each of these tonic triads. So the first job is to make sure you know your key signatures. And I always find it helpful to write out my major and minor related keys. This is more keys than you need for this grade. This is all of the keys. This is the circle of fifths. And if you're not sure how to work out that circle of fifths, you can look at my video tutorial explaining that, and you'll find the link to that video in the cards and in the description. And so if you do that, you've already done the thinking required, and this next question will be super easy. It's always better to do your thinking all in one go instead of keep on having to drag this information to memory. And so we need to name the key of each of these tonic triads. Now here's the clue, tonic, and so the bottom note has to be the tonic, the first degree of the scale, or the key note, all meaning the same thing. So in the treble clef, this is a C sharp, and so we know that it must be the tonic triad of C sharp something, and we know it's C sharp minor because C sharp minor has the same key signature as E major, which is F, C, G, D sharps, which will explain the C sharp and the G sharp. So it's C sharp minor. So here we're in the bass clef, and so our tonic is one step below middle C. That's the B below middle C. And we know that B minor is related to D major, which has a key signature of F sharps and C sharps. So that would explain the F sharp here. And so that's B minor. And now here we're in the bass clef. Now we're quite low down. If this is a G, we know this is G, good boys deserve. So G, F, E, this is E flat. So we know this is the triad of E flat something. And we know that E flat major has a key signature of B flats, E flats and A flats, which will explain this B flat and E flat here. And so we know that it's E flat major. So then, now here our top of the treble clef system is note F. So this is F. So we know that it's F something. Now F major has only B flats, and so that won't be enough to explain why there's an A flat here. However, we know that F minor is related to A flat major, which has B flats, E flats, A flats and D flats. And so that will explain why there's an A flat here. So we know that that's F minor. And then this last one, again, we're quite low down. So what we can do to find out this tonic note here, let's work it out an octave higher. Let's count up 8, making sure we count this given note as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 takes us to this line here. Good boys deserve. So here we're D an octave lower. We know that's D something, and so we know that D major has a key signature of F sharps and C sharps, and so D major would explain why there's an F sharp here, and we know that that's D major. We couldn't say D minor, of course, because D minor is related to F major, which only has a B flat, and so in D minor there's no place for this F sharp. It has to be D major. So there we go, that's that one soon done. Let's press on. Now we're asked to rewrite this following melody. We need to correctly beam or group these notes. Now if you remember, we have to group things to reflect the time signature and the beat of this time signature. This is common time, which means 4/4, which means 4 crotchet beats or 4 quarter notes per bar, and so we need to reflect each crotchet beat, apart from the fact that sometimes if it's only quavers and it doesn't cross over the middle of the bar, we can also beam 4 quavers, 4 eighth notes together, so long as it doesn't go over the halfway point of the bar. That's the only exception to the rule. When it's a mixture of quavers, semi-quavers and so on, we have to show each new beat. We need to show where each new crotchet beat or quarter note starts. So let's do some thinking before we even get going with writing out. So there's beat 1. Now here, if I just sort of visualise a crotchet beat, so there's a crotchet or a quarter note. We'll divide it into 2 quavers, 2 eighth notes, or 4 quarters of 4 16th notes, each a quarter of a beat. There we go, semi-quavers. That was a bit of a mouthful. So let's see what we've got here. We've got a quarter of a beat, we've got a half of a beat, and then we've got a quarter of a beat. So you can see there's our next beat. 2 quavers, 2 eighth notes, half a beat each. There's our next beat. There's beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. So we're showing where each new beat falls. So here we have, let's just diagram this out again, half of a beat with this quaver or this eighth note. The dot means half as much again, so there's another quarter of a beat, and then here's a semi-quaver or a 16th note. That's a quarter of a beat, finishing off our quarter note or crotchet beat. And then we have 2 quarters and a half of a beat. There's beat 2. Now here, let's just think about this a bit more closely. Let's just look at our crotchet beat here. Now here we have 2 32nd notes or 2 demi-semi-quavers, and so we have to just divide that again. So we have an eighth of a beat, an eighth of a beat. We have a half of a beat here, and then the dot is half as much again, so that's half of a half is a quarter, so we can see there is a beat. However, if you get really lost here, what you can do is work from the back of the bar, and we can see here that we have 3 quarters of a beat, because we have a half of a beat here, half as much again, and then there's our remaining quarter of a beat. So if you work that out and you work that out, you know that you're left with that in the middle, just to double check your maths. So there we can see there's our beat, so a half of a beat and a half of a beat, 3 quarters and a quarter, and then there is our remaining 2 beats. So that's all of the hard thinking done. Now we've just got to draw it out. So what I'm going to do, just so I don't get lost, there's far too much else going on to worry about getting lost. So I'm just going to keep everything aligned with theirs. I'm not going to do the tie yet until I've figured out which way my stems are going. And I'm just keeping everything aligned with there so I know it's properly spaced and I'm not going to run out of space. And then if I've got all the blobs in the right place, then my brain will be free to worry about which way the stems are going to go, because when I beam them together I may have to change the direction of some stems. I guess I can put a sharp sign in without too much stress. So we've done all the hard thinking, now we've just got to decide which way to put some stems. So this one is on its own, of course, there's beat 1. So these are going to go together, and these stems can all happily stay as they are. And then I just show those note divisions. Now this one goes above the beat, the middle line, sorry. This one goes below the middle line, and so we have to make a choice. It's either way will do. However, because I've got this tie, I'm going to keep the stems pointing down just to make it easier to carry on. So here, these can happily stay upwards, they'll work together. These can stay downwards. And then so can these. So they will need 2 extra beams. These can stay downwards, so no tricky decisions really, except from this one here. Now here, this one is of course needing the stem down. This is the stem going up, so we need to decide which one outvotes the other. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So technically this one outvotes. So that will have to, this last one will have to accommodate this top one. And then again here we have the same scenario where this one is one outside of being the middle, so is this one. It can choose either way, and so I'm just going to keep the stems down just for the sake of continuity, but you could decide to put those stems up. And then that's a stem up. So, and you can see once you've done the work, how much easier that would be for the performer. We can see beat 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Better just make sure I put a dot there. Just double check I've not missed anything else. And there we go, that's that. So let's look at the last little part of this. We need to name the degree of the scale of the first note of bar 2 marked here. We're in A minor, and so if we choose this low A as the first degree of the scale, next door to that is B, which is the second, 1, 2, and so we can see it's the second degree of the scale. If you weren't terribly sure, you could always think, here are your degrees of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can see that this is note B, good boys, and we can see that B is the second degree of the scale, just to double check that. And we'll just press on to this last question on this page, and we have some performance terms and musical directions, and now all of these are presented to you as multiple choice from 2018 onwards. That's part of the newly revised exam layout. I'm not sure that this makes it any easier for you, because sometimes they do throw in a red herring, so just be careful to read these definitions carefully. There's no alternative but to just revise these, and just to help you, I've given you at the end of the PDF document a little test here to help you. I would suggest that you compile a list, because remember this is all of grades 1, 2 and 3 combined, and I would group your terms thematically, even colour code them, so everything from grade 1, 2 and 3 to do with slow belongs together, fast or loud or quiet or whatever makes sense to you. I would group them thematically rather than alphabetically, so you can see the like terms. And so assuming you've done a bit of revision, have a crack at this and then we'll check these through together. We've got the first one here, sempre means always. So now we'll crack on and have a go of these. So F, this was first of all in grade 1. F for forte, which means loud. So there we go. Mesto, now that means sad. Giocoso, now to me that's sort of a jolly looking word anyway, so that is easily remembered as playful and merry in my sort of abstract brain. Now we have a couple of words here, meno and mosso. So meno is less and mosso is movement, so we're actually getting slower, so just be careful. And so less movement and slower exactly describes that one. Now here, this, we first came across this I think in grade 2. Staccato is a dot above or below a note, and this little sort of arrow here pointing downwards is super staccato or staccatissimo. So there we go, that's that. So a bit of revision is required for that subject there. That's the end of that question. We'll look at the next question in the next video. I do hope this is helping you to get to grips with this grade 3 music theory. I hope it's helping you in your studies. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. Please share out the videos. Please also do visit sharonbill.com and have a browse around all of the resource and information that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.